Hello, it's Rethink with Rudiano. Welcome to the show. And now that I've got your attention, let's talk a little bit about biases. We all have biases. If it's the first time you see me, my name is Rudiano. I'm a, I'm a singer. I'm a singer, a songwriter, a rethinker, an all-round letter, but and a believer. So today I was thinking of talking about biases and why. Actually, let's just have a look if the stream is going. So we go again to our channel, view the channel, and go to the live stream. Yes, it looks like it's working. So we're talking about biases. Channel and go to the live stream. Yes. Okay. Like yes, it is working. It's working. So it. Yes. So we're talking about biases. Why? Well, it's because of a story. I don't know if I told you that before, but there was this guy that I talked to online. Very, very knowledgeable, very articulate, but very obnoxious. He was an academic and he was very. Basically, he really thought that he had no biases at all, that he was 100% objective, that he could cut through any BS and get to the truth of the matter quite easily. And I was like, you think you God? Correct me if I'm wrong, but nobody, I don't think anybody has an eagle-eyed view to be able to see what exactly is right, what is not, what is subjective, what is not objective, and the ramification of that. Nobody has a 360 view. Us mere we mortals, we operate in life with a lens, with a frame. Sometimes it can be very narrow, sometimes it can be very wide, depending on what we can process, but it's still a lens. We don't have a 360 world view. That is not something that we're designed to be able to cope with anyway. Because I think about it. If we were able to see all the data around us at any given time, so not a particular smell, but all the smells, not a particular sight or color, but all the sights, all the colors, not any particular sound, but all the sounds at any given time. Now, with taste, it's different because you can only taste what's in your mouth. But can you imagine that? Having to process all of that at any given time. It's too much. Too much data. We'd be overwhelmed. We would not be able to function. We can't have all of the data. And you might say, yeah, but it could be just we don't need all of this data. We just need the data that we need to get to a solution to whatever problem we're facing. Even if we were able to find exactly the crucial pieces of information that we need to come to a decision and get all of the facts, the objective facts that we needed for that decision. Even that would slow us down so much. Every decision would take so much time and energy that I don't think we'll make it past the second hour before needing a nap. That's I think that's how we design. We design for efficiency. Our brain takes shortcuts. Efficiency, smart, not just hard. And we don't even need to try. It's just the way it's designed. So we come across a situation and then we resolve it somehow. So it gets stored in our memory bank. Then another situation happens that reminds us of that situation. Then our memory bank goes, oh yes, we filed this. It looks like this, so we're gonna do this thing the same way. Maybe it's not exactly the same situation. Maybe it's not the best solution, but it helps us to move on. That's how we operate. But then to say that we don't have any biases is doesn't sound true to me. And in fact, there's a word for that. When somebody says that they've got no biases, they're not likely to have any biases. It's called the bias blind spot. Itself, it's a bias. Ironic. But to finish off that story, in fact, when I looked at the conversations online that were happening with this guy, turns out, yes, he himself has a bias. What was his bias? Well, he was prejudiced against religious people. He thought that most religious people were not able to have an articulate conversation, were not able to self introspect and reason. Now, do I see where that came from? Yes. People can be like that. Do I think that that was the whole data of people that what he experienced was the whole truth? No. I'd like to say that I'm reasonably articulate and I can self introspect and think and reason without being a fanatic. And I'm a religious guy through and through. I tried to engage with him, but that didn't work. Anyway, so really my conclusion is that we all have biases. They're inbuilt in us. That's we can't operate without biases. At this point, let's have a little bit of a conversation about what bias is. There's a synonym for bias that is prejudice. Prejudice. If you look at the word pre-judge, judice, judging prior. Prior to what? Prior to having all the evidence. Now, there's, of course, the charge, emotional charge of the word prejudice, because nobody's prejudiced against a gender, against a race. And yeah, we definitely don't want that. But there's part of prejudice that we all are guilty of, because that's really the way we do stuff. We can't judge stuff all the time with all the data, because one, we never have all the data. Two, we sometimes have the crucial parts of the data, but we just need to get to a decision quickly. Therefore, we don't always weigh exactly fairly. That's part of our, well, it's part of our makeup, unfortunately. So we try to minimize that, but we can't really stop it completely. We all have biases. We all judge before we have all the facts. And sometimes, we think the shoe fits. So we wear it, but we realize the shoe doesn't really fit. It's a bit tight. It's one size tight. But we're like, yeah, it's okay. We're going to walk in it. We're going to struggle, but we're going to walk. It's going to work. It happens. So I thought I'd just talk about that and possibly start a series about biases. The first one that I was thinking of talking about is review mirror syndrome. Review mirror syndrome. Now it's quite easy to understand what it means. You just literally put yourself in your car, you're driving, you're driving forward, but you're looking at your review mirror at the road behind you, maybe your side mirror as well, at the road behind you. What's likely to happen? Accident. Because the road behind you is not the same as the road ahead of you. The only way you can avoid an accident in that scenario is that it's a straight road. For as long as it stretches out, it's just a straight road, no change whatsoever. Because as soon as there's a change, there's a big problem. It could be a slight bend, it could be a speed bump, it could be somebody crossing it could be any sort of change, little or big, then you're in trouble. And review mirror syndrome is something that is you can be very prone to when you've had enough experience in life. Like, I don't want to say it, but I have to say it. Like me, I'm not far from half a century on this earth, so I've been seeing patterns, and those patterns have become habituals, and I've thought, oh yeah, this is how things work, and then they become deeply entrenched in your worldview, and you think, yeah, that's the way things are, whether you consciously think about it or subconsciously. You just think, yeah, that's the way the world works. Problem is largely based on a road that's behind you, but the road that's ahead sometimes is completely different, and there's a big discrepancy between the road behind and the road ahead. And if you keep looking at the road ahead and thinking, yes, I'm aligning myself with the road behind. If I'm going straight like this, I should not hit anything in front. Hang on, go that way. See, you catch my drift. So what we need to do is check our bias. Every now and then, just check. Just be aware that we've got them. And the awareness is the forearmed. What's the expression again? Forewarned is forearmed. If we know, then we've got more chances to counteract the effect of it. So, how are we going to check our biases? The review mirror syndrome. Well, let's have a look at the road behind and the road ahead in a few domains. Now, rethink with Reggiano, we're creative there. So we're going to focus on the creativity. So we're going to see on the music perspective, on the writing perspective, and I'll add something else. So how has the road behind and the road ahead differ in the music perspective, in the music front? Story time. I remember it's like 30 years ago in Guadeloupe. We were doing our Bible study work, and we were going from door to door, and we got to this house, and I had no clue. It was a little village called Donut, like 15 minutes walk from where I lived. Never had a clue, but that guy had a recording studio in his backyard. His name was Lizzo, from Lizzo Music, which probably has completely disappeared now. But it was at one point famous for where I don't know if it was famous, but I remember the guy speaking about Jean-Michel Rotin, who is a legend in Guadeloupe and in France of Zouk. He used to record there. So anyway, we had a conversation with the guy, and then he showed us the recording studio, and I was like, wow, I wish one day I could record a song there. Now I was musical, but I wasn't. Hang on, I must have had, yeah, I must have had composed a few songs by then. But what's the point of the story? The model at the time was, you want to create a song, you want people to hear it on the radio, you need a label to invest some funds into you, because the recording studio will cost a lot of money. So there's gonna have to be recording studio costs. It's gonna have to have this engineer with it. And if you're not a multi instrumentalist, you're gonna have to have musicians, session musicians recording with you. And that's just the recording. Then the label will have to pay some money to manufacture the discs, vinyls or CDs or both, and then pay for the transportation of said discs or vinyls to the music stores. And then they're gonna have to recoup their money, their investments on you. That was a real difficult enterprise to get in. It was difficult, very difficult. You could never do it on your own. Now, that was the model back then. Now, 20 years, 30 years later, my first album, Eclectic, I recorded it in my bedroom with my means, which was like, I didn't have much, to be honest. I had a PC, I had my keyboard, actually this keyboard right here, which is really old. Anyway, this keyboard right here. I recorded all the instruments on that, and then I borrowed somebody's mixer, and I put my mic in it. I sung into it, and then I had a little mixing software on my PC. I did it all by myself. Did I have to pay a label to put it online? No, because digitally you can do that by yourself. You go through a distributor, yes, but no need for all those overheads. And it's still there. I mean, let me know if it's not on your favorite platform, because I know that some platforms are a bit weird. So Eclectic should be now, well, not now. It was in 2006, I think I recorded it, almost 20 years ago. And it should be on Spotify, Deezer, Apple, all the platforms. Let me know if it's not on your favorite platform. But there you go, Rudiano, Eclectic. Entirely independent. If you would have told me at the time when I was at Lizzo looking at his recording studio and salivating, if you would have told me, oh, you know, in about 30 years you're gonna be able to do that, I'd be like, oh, shut up. Now, did I do it? Not the same quality, obviously, but the road has completely changed. Now, imagine that I would have been thinking at the time, right, okay, I've just seen this recording studio. This is my dream. I want to record in that recording studio. So I will do everything to get into the industry, get the labels to like my style, like my music, and then I'm gonna go through that route. I don't know if it would have worked. Now, granted, it's something I need to tell you regarding the music industry. I never really wanted to, well, I never, that's not true. I do not want to get into the music industry by the traditional way. I've always been scared. Now that is true. I've always been scared of the music industry and what it does to people. It's highly volatile. The personalities, the morals are very volatile. So I've for a very long time thought if I were to be able to do something with my music, I'd like it to be on the fringe so that I don't get the bad side of the music industry. But imagine I didn't have those qualms and that my values were totally aligned with whatever is happening in the music industry. I'm not sure I would have been able to make it. And if I had made it, it would have had to be when it was at back then, while that road was like that. Because once it's changed to become everything being digital, if I hadn't made my money by that time, then crossroads, and then I'd be in a problem because I'd be like still trying to put my money up so that I can get more recording sessions and stuff while everything is just being digital and I'm being overtaken by all those producers that are doing everything independently from their bedroom. You have to adapt. If you don't adapt, you die. So that's the music. Now the writing. How did the road behind differ from the road ahead? Well, actually, it's not that long ago, something like 15 years ago, when I was looking, because that was the model back then. I was looking for a literary agent that would like my style enough to want to represent me with publishing companies, because that was the way to go. You get yourself pitched to, or your manuscript pitched to different literary agents. If they like you, they like your work, they believe in it, then they pitch your work to different publishing companies. And then if they like your work, they say, well, okay, we get a deal. And when, we're going to edit your work, we're going to find, a cover for your work, we're going to do a little marketing, and then we're going to get your book on the shelves. Physical again. That was all physical. The same as in the music industry at one point. All physical. Then everything became digital. I've got books online. I don't have a publishing company either. Again, independent. This is the road now. The road behind, imagine I would have been like, yeah, I really, really want to be published by Penguin Press. So I'm gonna do everything that I can. So I'm gonna send letters to get. Doesn't matter if I get rejected 100, 1,000 times. I'm gonna carry on until I get published traditionally that way. Would I make it? I don't know. My opinion is that I probably wouldn't have, because the thing is, sometimes the gatekeepers are there for a reason. So they prefer your work to be showing a lot of promise, a lot. So their standards is possibly very high. So that's why anything that is substandard won't go through. But how do you know if it's substandard if they don't tell you what exactly is wrong with it? How do you manage to master the craft, become better at it, if you've got little to no feedback? But if you independent and you put your art out there, you tend to get feedback almost immediately. Even if it's no feedback, then that's feedback in itself sometimes. So at least it gives you more time to master your craft because you've put something out. But if you don't put enough out, then you can't become better at it. You're just banking on this one manuscript and you send it to here, there, there, here, there, and all the time, and you're not even realizing that it's not its best yet. So again, being independent, I think, is the way forward. It's the road ahead. Now, this one is a bit different to the music industry because the music industry is definitely, if you want anything physical, you vintage. But with the writing world, if you want physical, you're still traditional, but it's not vintage. You can have either the book in physical form or digital form, or even both. But it's obviously the road behind and the road ahead is not the same. You need to adapt, you need to think what is going on, where am I? Now, what if you're not a creative? How does review mirror syndrome actually work for you? Will it? Does it apply to you at all? Well, I argue that emotionally it does. Because review mirror syndrome, I think is described as thinking that because things have always worked a certain way, they are bound to work the same way. Nothing's gonna change. That's true and that's not. It's true in the sense that the thing that never changes is human nature. We've got the same wants, the same needs, the same traits, good and bad. That doesn't change. But the tools, the technology, the environment, that changes. So, for example, to take a negative example, the scams from the road behind, from yesteryear, and the scam of the road ahead are different. We need to adapt, we need to know. We can't think of the way they applied back then and not now. Nowadays, I'm going to say it again, AI. The AI situation makes things really difficult. I mean, who would have thought that somebody could take the likeness of somebody, clone their voice, and sell a product without that actual person knowing or consenting to it? Now, at the minute I'm recording it, you can still kind of tell, but for how long? Don't know. So again, just because we're thinking that, oh yeah, this is the way scam worked before, I'm okay, I'm good, uh, I'm not gonna get, I'm not gonna get scammed. No, no, no. The road ahead is different. We need to still think about how things are now. Stay informed. And again, another thing, coming back to the music. So we're talking about review mirror syndrome. Question for you: what are you like? Are you, because there are three types of people: people who are future oriented, always planning for the future; people who are more in the present, enjoying the moment; and then the people that are past oriented, always reflecting on what happened before. Which one are you? I know which one I am mostly. Mostly, I'm a past oriented guy. I'm a nostalgic guy. Sometimes I romanticize the past. So yeah, it used to be better. Whereas I know that actually no, that's not true. Some things were better, some things were worse. That's the way things are. There's always two sides to the coin. And there's another thing as well, if you're a past oriented person, that you can be doing, like that I do, for example, that I fell prey to for a long time, but now I'm kind of getting away from it. the way I use songs for me are therapy. So 99% of my songs, probably less now because I'm going a different direction, but 99% of my songs were based on sad love stories, and I was just processing the breakup through a song. And of course, I didn't want it to be too raw, so I would embellish it, I would dramatize some things, and I would try to make it more relatable, more beautiful in some way. But what I ended up doing is basically cultivating this pain, mulling over it, ruminating on it, and it doesn't really have a good effect on you. You know, you kind of always in that bad mood, really negative mood with a dark cloud hanging over you, and then you rely on that to inspire you to make a better song. It is what it is. It seems that, you know, when you do a song, if it's a sad song, it becomes more emotionally meaningful and deeper, and then you tend to think, yeah, I just want to do that again and again and again and again. Cultivating it. That's not a very good thing to do. So now I'm trying to do something else. So now I'm just I'm doing earworms, I'm doing happy go lucky songs and really dancing songs because I love dancing. Okay, just need to say hello. Hello, brah. CK Shows, thank you for saying hello. Very good. Very good. Yeah. So what was I saying? So yeah, it's not a good thing to cultivate pain, and unfortunately, with a lot of songwriters, we tend to do that because for some reason, it what comes out, what is when it's a song that is deep and emotional, for some reason, it resonates longer and deeper, not only with ourselves but with the audience. So it is what it is. But it's good to have a balance. So, have I made you think? Have I made you think about your biases? If I have, click like. Because if you do, you know, it's a very miraculous thing. When you click on like, it sends a message to the algorithm, and the algorithm is like, I'm listening. Aha, this video is actually gonna be of value for somebody else. Let's spread the word. And it does. So please do that. Thank you. So that is it for today. And I was going to say, next time I'm going to be looking at another bias. I'm thinking of the authority bias. So I'll let you know. I'll see if I can do it next Wednesday. I might. But just subscribe so that you don't miss it. So thank you for watching, and as usual, this has been Rudy from Rethink Creative. Reflect, redefine, rise. See you soon. Ciao.